August 2nd, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've been asking myself why the yield is like so during wet season. So I took a look at the internet and look for reasons because I believe that other people, farmers, researchers already have done studies on this. And sure enough, somebody did. So the question was rice yield in wet season. And this one and this one really is quite interesting, although I can't download the entire document. The abstract or summary or whatever you call it, let's just see here. It's really eye-opening. Internet here is really slow, so it takes a while for something to load. And this page isn't responding. Just wait. Maybe this one too. Anyway, let's take a look at this document. My computers are quite old. They are, I don't know, 15 years old. And they're not really good. They're breaking down. I'll put this in the description later so people can actually read what I'm reading. Let me see, can I download this thing? You gotta register and log in and get this document. The abstract is really what I'm more interested in. So the study is compare grain yield of rice in dry season, DS, and wet season, rainy season, lowland, and determine climatic and physiological factors critical to the yield gap. So there is a yield gap between dry season and wet season. So they did the study, stuff like that. And so the thing that really is of interest is major difference in biomass production. And that's the reason why I've been weighing the samples. That is the biomass. So when I took the sample per square meter, I weighed, check the mass of the biomass, and greater biomass accumulation from farm flowering to physiological maturity associated with higher grain yield in dry season than wet season, but not translocation of biomass accumulated before flowering begins. What does this really mean? Well, the body of the plants take all of that nutrients and put it to its body. So it accumulates all of that. And it needs to then transfer the accumulated nutrients into the grains. That's basically what it means. Higher grain yields in dry season was partly the result of greater spikelet due to higher spikelet production efficiency per unit biomass at flowering. So in other words, during dry season, it would accumulate a larger biomass than wet season. I will see that when I start to weigh the biomass in the first graph 2025. So above ground total biomass, so the higher the biomass is crucial physiological factor. That's the body, physiological, to the yield gap between dry season and wet season. Meaning that in dry season, the samples per square meter would be heavier. So basically what it's saying is there is a huge difference between dry season and wet season. And that's the reason why I saw that why did it appear like this? I did everything we did, dry split, stuff like that, and yet we didn't achieve the yield that we were looking for. So looking at this then is why. Basically, Uh, I mentioned in my previous videos that in the dry season it's cool, really cool. So, and during wet season, the nights are hot, really hot. So in dry season, beginning in December, January, February, and these are the critical months for dry season. So grain yield declined by 10% for each degree increase in the minimum temperature. Okay, what does that mean? Although it is mentioned in global warming, it can be associated with wet season where it's really hot at night. So it really is important. Let's see here. If we go to the summary of this, it really is pointing to the fact that so the hotter it is at night, it will change how the crop will begin to develop the grains. So other mechanisms also may contribute to the observed yield reduction, such as effects of night versus day temperature on tailoring and stuff like this. And of course, they need more study. The main thing that I've gotten from this report is the high temperature on rice yield are well understood. So that there is a decrease. This report provides a direct evidence of decreased rice yield from increased night temperature. Although they're saying this with global warming, I notice in the wet season it's really hot. I also notice during the dry season the nighttime temperature is cool. And so there are two factors that are involved in yield development. One is temperature and the other one is solar. So this is really what I'm getting at, and understand why the yield is like so. Two things is higher radiation, okay, greater radiation during ripening in dry season contributed to higher grain yield. So solar radiation. Here, increased night temperature will decrease rice yield. And so I think that these two factors I didn't really understood. I wanted or needed to have higher grain yield or rice yield in the wet season. I am really out of luck. So it's almost say that it can't be done. So although using tri-split, it made the plants looks great. However, the night temperature decreases rice yield. So it's really hot here during wet season and really cool during dry season. And so according to the studies, there is a huge difference in yield, and the tri-split fertilization is more applicable to dry season than wet season. I think a farmer could simply use bi-split or split, and the results will be the same yield whether you're using split or tri-split. because the temperature and also the solar radiation, because it's almost cloudy during the rainy season. So both factors are involved during wet season. And in the dry season, the solar radiation is more and the temperature is cooler. So it provided greater rice yield during dry season. So I will do more data gathering. However, it really is an answer to what I'm looking for. Why is the yield in wet season lower than dry season, even when I did dry split? Thanks for watching.